Hello, it's Stephen Shade with the Tax Sales Secrets Weekly Update for the week of March 30th. So we're actually getting into April this week.
Yeah, exactly. Each week we try to go through and talk about some news and announcements. We go through the auction hot list, and then we try to give you a good, helpful tip each week for as you get started doing tax sale investing that could be useful for you.
Yeah, we do try to cover different things. This week we're going to be talking about using comps or a CMA to establish value on property. And so first off, we have a Saturday morning workshop coming up on April 14th that is free to attend. That happens at 10 o'clock Mountain Time, which is going to be 9 a.m. Pacific and 12 noon Eastern. So if you'd like to register for that, you can do it so in the description.
Yeah, exactly. You can go down below in the description. Also up into the card section where we have some of our offers. You can click on that as well, and it'll give you a link that you can click on to register. So it's actually limited to 100 seats, so go ahead and get registered for it. It usually ends up filling up.
Yeah. Also, if you would like to become a member, you can join today for $29 a month at Tax Sale Support. You can also use the links below. And if you don't have a free ebook yet, you can use the link below or go to secretsoftaxlieninvesting.com to do that.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's by far one of the best ebooks on the market as far as getting a free download.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's definitely one of the best values there. A lot of free stuff sometimes seems like it's nothing but a couple pages typed up, but this is an actual book that's really pretty well put together. So, yeah, if you haven't downloaded it, the ebook yet, do that.
Yeah, exactly. We see there's quite a few auctions coming up in over the next couple of week or so. April 2nd, next week. Looks like we've got auction in Washington and Florida, Alabama, Ohio. There's also auctions on the 3rd in Charlotte County, Florida, Lake County, Florida, Polk County, Arkansas, and Georgia and Texas are going to be having auctions.
Yeah, they. In fact, we know with Texas they usually do it on is it the first Tuesday of the month or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And all these lists are available on the website. In fact, there's quite a few more auctions happening. Really, there's probably each one of those days has probably 9 or 10 auctions happening.
Way more than I could fit into this section. A lot of these areas have a lot of sales. There's multiple sales in Florida. There's a lot of these places. Arkansas's got several. Other places, Indiana's starting to come up here. We're starting to see also the Louisiana sales. On April 4th, we've got Baton Rouge and a bunch of other areas in Louisiana that have their. Whoops. Let me jump back up there. They have their sales starting on that date.
Yeah, there's about a dozen different auctions that will be happening in Louisiana.
Yeah, and by Thursday and Friday, we've got Hillsborough, Florida, Miami, Florida. And you've also got a bunch of places in North Carolina as well that have sales that are starting up, like Richmond, North Carolina, Hamilton, Florida here, Columbus, North Carolina. By Friday, we've got, many more North Carolina sales taking place. Davidson, North Carolina, Brunswick, Haywood. We also still have the Florida sales spotted throughout. They're always there. And then there's no sale over the weekend, but on the following Monday, which is the 9th, the first sale that they have coming up there is Madison, Indiana. Plus we've got Levy, Florida, and Taylor, Florida, which are those are live in-person sales, I think, right?
Yeah.
And then we've got also more sales taking place in North Carolina.
Yeah, exactly. So you can see that there's quite a few things coming up over the next couple of weeks. Indiana, Louisiana, Arkansas, Florida, North Carolina. And so there's going to be good opportunity out there. Ohio, for investors that are looking to get started in tax sales. I mean, even the Georgia sales. So if you live in Georgia, there's going to be tax sales taking place all across your state. Same thing going on with Texas on April 3rd.
Yeah, excellent. Now, we wanted to talk about CMAs, or officially known as comparable market analysis. Why don't you talk a little bit about what they are, since really you were kind of the one that originally introduced them to me.
Yeah, well, I started with CMAs as a real estate agent, back in 1999, And that's just really what a comparative market analysis is really just a process of evaluating comparable properties to the property that you're looking at to determine what the value is. And so it's really the process that real estate agents go through to determine the value, but it's the same thing that investors will go through as well. And so you're just going to find similar homes that are for sale, and then we're going to be able to compare those homes to the home that we're looking at or that we're thinking about buying. Or we can use the same process even if it's a piece of land. We're essentially finding comps or comparables.
Yeah. In fact, I was just going to say that it can be whatever type of land you have. You basically want to try to find properties that are similar to that property, that have sold, because that's really the best indication of value. That's what you're looking at when it comes to what property is worth. In the end of the day, it's worth what somebody's willing to pay for it. And so, looking at sales that have taken place over the previous year is an important thing to look at. It's something that will tell you what property is selling for, what the demand is, and beyond that, what somebody will actually pay for for property, not just any property, but for several properties that are very much like the property that you would like to sell.
Yeah, exactly.
In fact, this is kind of an example to show. And the nice thing about these properties, but really, you could break any property down to $1 per square foot if you wanted.
Yeah.
But with homes, you can do it. You can break it down to kind of $1 per square foot for the inside of the house.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is, similar type of example we did on some property we're looking in Florida. And so essentially, the property we're looking at, it is an 1,800 square foot home, 3-bedroom, 2 baths, unfinished basement. Actually didn't have a basement. Built in 1965. And so essentially, we're going to be looking for 3 homes within that area that are either preferably sold, but we can also look to see what's currently for sale. If we can't find sold homes within the area that are very, very similar. And so you can see between home 1 and home 3, they're all pretty close to the same size, between 1,700 square feet to 1,950 square feet. They all have the same amount of bedrooms, baths, pretty close to the same year. And we can see that they sold, for 105, 110, 170, 107. And so essentially they sold between $55 a square foot to $62 a square foot. And so essentially in looking at this investment, we would know that, the property we were looking at would essentially sell between $55 to $62 a square foot, as long as these are good, similar comparables.
Yeah, and beyond that, the way that it sells too can also tell you something. How long was it on the market, and was it something that sat on the market for a long time, or were people snatching it up quickly? And you can see that there's also kind of a mix in there of properties that sold relatively quickly, within 30 days to as far out as 90 days. But that as well tells you something. But these are all great ways, examples here of how we would come to a specific value on a property. If these were 3 pieces of land, we wouldn't have maybe some of the same details in terms of the information on the home, but we do have information in terms of lot characteristics and other pieces of property that have sold out there in the area.
Yeah, definitely. And if we are looking at a piece of land, we'll also we'll also be very mindful of the properties that are currently for sale, because essentially, we will, if we're trying to wholesale a property, or unless we're going through quiet title to get full dollar on the property, we're usually going to want to be able to offer that property at a discount over the other properties that are for sale. So knowing what properties are currently for sale and how many are for sale is going to help you determine how much you want to pay for it.
Yeah. Another thing, just to mention here, is when you're trying to figure out values, you're always better off going under than you are going over.
Absolutely.
I think there's a certain desire that you have when you're pricing it out to to want it to be that higher value, but in reality, you want to undershoot it, if anything, because overshooting it, only causes problems. Undershooting it, doesn't generally cause problems. It just, in fact, it's just means that you end up being able to make more on it than you thought you would.
Yeah, exactly. As far as finding comparables, years ago it was pretty difficult to find comparables. You'd have to go to the county sales record and review there. But now with so many online websites, from Realtor.com to Zillow to other types of websites that are available, it's pretty easy to find properties that are currently for sale, properties that have sold. And then, of course, we can always go to the county sales record. Most counties will have that, and most counties will actually have it online as well, so you can see what properties have sold. And then, of course, if you need to, you can always have a real estate agent do a comparative market analysis for you, or a BPO, a broker's price opinion. Sometimes they'll charge a fee for that. And so, depending on the type of deal, usually, at least from our experience and most of our students, we've been able to do pretty good comparables on our own.
Yeah. I think there's certainly enough resources out there to be able to do comps on your own now. Really, there's more information now than there's ever been. There are good sites out there if you want to value out property, but it also kind of depends on the type of property that you're using. Because we use Zillow, and we'll use realtors sometimes. We also end up using other sites as well when we're trying to value out property. Like Land Watch, seems like we end up looking at several different sites, really.
Yeah, I mean, we'll check, especially, we'll even check Craigslist in different areas. We'll check anything within that area. Land Watch if we're looking at different types of land. Any type of place that offers real estate for sale and there's properties for sale within that area can give you a good idea of the comparables. And then, of course, if needed be, you could always go through the county and figure out those as well.
Yeah. Now, in terms of your county records, property sales are part of public record. I think it's something that a lot of people don't realize. The county is going to keep record of every transaction because they're basically the ones that are dealing with the title, the deed in most cases, and so they're going to have a record of every transaction that occurs. And like Steve said, many of them put this online or make this available, and a lot of the websites that you'll use are actually sourcing the counties for that information. They provide like Zillow. Zillow and some of these other sites are actually using some of the county. They go to the county to get the same information on their site essentially.
Yeah, and a lot of those counties will also have tools where you can essentially zero in, on the property. So you could do a square mile, around the property or something like that, and pull up the sales within that area so you can kind of narrow down that search. But between that and the county records, between that and the online records like Zillow and Realtor.com and some of those websites, we can usually get a pretty good idea of what the value is of most properties.
Yeah. And also just last thing to say is when it comes to selling properties too, whether you're selling it with a warranty deed or as a tax deed makes a huge difference. It's a big deal. In terms of pricing when you go to wholesale something like that. So it's important to try to figure out these values so that you can get a better idea of what you're willing to accept in terms of if you're going to wholesale it for cash. You want to get a good idea of what its actual value is there so that you can have a more accurate idea of the wholesale value if that's how you're going to sell it.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. As far as doing comparative market analysis, this is really part of the process of becoming a real estate investor or a tax sale investor. When we talk about tax sale investing, if you can do tax sale investing, you can do any other type of real estate investing, because tax sale investing takes a lot more due diligence and research and study than just any type of real estate deal. And so, once you've understand how to do comparative market analysis, how to evaluate real estate and evaluate, what the true value is, what you can actually sell it for, you can really do anything within the real estate game.
Yeah, there isn't a deeper level of real estate, where it's like, where you get more into the nitty gritty, roots of how it works, than when you're dealing with tax sales, because we're basically dealing with all the nitty gritty stuff. Really, that's everything we do is with the nitty gritty.
Yeah,
so.
We're researching county records, we're going through court records, we're looking for additional liens against a property. Once you've gone through that process and become a tax sale investor, you can do any other type of real estate. And that's the reason we believe it's the best type of real estate investing, because with tax lien certificates, easy to do, and you get the guaranteed interest rate return.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we're talking about deeds, it's the best way to get property as far as getting property for small percentage of its actual value.
Getting a significant discount on property is really the only way I know of.
Yeah.
So, hey, thank you for joining us today, and again, subscribe, and you can join us here every single week for this update. But if you want more, you can also use any of the links below, or you can go to Tax Sale Support or secretsoftaxlieninvesting.com.
Yeah, exactly. And don't forget to like. We definitely appreciate all those likes. It helps us out. So thank you again, and we look forward to talking to you again next week.